All right, everyone. So I am making this video to talk through Notion and how Notion is a little bit different than Airtable, and kind of how to get started with Notion, what the differences of Notion are compared to Airtable, how you can use it, the features it has. And in my opinion, it's a lot more robust than Airtable. Airtable is really great at databases, and as you've seen some of the things with what I've showed you with what you can do with Airtable, there's a lot of really cool things you can do with Notion that you can't do with Airtable, at least intuitively. But there's also just a lot of things you can do with Notion. And the way that I really describe Notion a lot of times is that if you're familiar with Google Docs, Workspace, spreadsheets, all that, and you're also familiar with Airtable, it's kind of in a way a intermediate version of that, like in between, because you can do a lot of things that you can do with Google Docs that you can do in Notion, and there's also things you can do in Airtable that you can do in Notion, but you can't do things from Airtable in Google Docs, and you can't do things from Google Docs in Airtable. So I think Notion has done a really great job at merging a lot of those, and they've come out with a lot of really amazing features like Calendar, and they just released the Mail app. So they're doing a really, I think, awesome job of creating products that are really useful and that are going across just database stuff. So anyways, this is my page. I'm calling it demo, and I'm going to take you through kind of a how to get started with Notion. If you are coming to this and you know nothing about Notion, so if you know a lot about Notion, or you have a Notion account, or you've worked with Notion, this is probably not the video for you. But if you are looking at this video and you want to learn more about Notion, how to get started, what it can do, the different features, I think that this is probably the one for you. And you know, even if you do know Notion a little bit, there might be some things that you haven't used before that you maybe don't know about. So feel free to stick around and see if those things are good for you. So anyways, this over here, I'm not going to hover over it because it's got my thing, but actually, well, I don't care. This is the sidebar that will pop up. I have it hidden right now, but you can also hide it. And that's where all your pages are stored. So these are my favorites. I write a blog called Half Hour. Feel free to check it out. It's halfhour.blog. It's a leadership blog. I also have a podcast called Backstage Banter, backstagebanterthepodcast.com. And then this is a page called My Life, which just has it's just one page that houses a bunch of other pages, and I can show you kind of how to do that. These are all different pages, private pages. So this is kind of the main navigation to Notion. Over here, when you first set up the page, you can click on these three dots over here. By default, that's hidden. You can change the font style. You can do a sans serif, you can do a serif, or you can do a monospace font. I typically just use the default. I've tried the serif one, but you have to go change it for every single page. So if that's something that you want, then you have to just do that for every page. These are features that you can use to help you with whatever you're working on. The main thing that I usually do is the full page. Sometimes for this one, I'll leave it on full width, and that just adjusts the margins essentially. You can lock the page if you don't want anyone else to mess with it. You can suggest edits. So if you're collaborating, the one thing I do want to say about Notion is that it's most powerful, and even to Airtable, is most powerful whenever you are collaborating. Working by yourself is not as it's useful and it has a lot of really great value, but I think it has the most value whenever you're working with other people. So if you want to suggest edits, just like in Google Docs, let's say this is a demo test of Notion. Let me just type that. So if I want to suggest edits, then I can start, maybe we should say it's a tutorial. And then you can stop suggesting, and then that will pop up just like in a Google Doc. You can accept it, you can reject it, you can tag people, you can react to it. So that's a way that you can use it like Google Docs, and there's more that I'll get into with that later. But you can also copy the link to the page. Oh, before that, you can translate it. This is really fucking cool. You can translate the page. So if you're working with different languages, you can translate it to where it'll be viewed. So let's go ahead and translate this. Let's translate it into Japanese. So it translates. You can duplicate this to edit it. You can also go back to the actual the page that it's in. Let me see, go back from English to oh, there. It just goes back. You just close out of that. Let's go to Spanish. So this goes to Spanish. So it's really easy to translate pages. Super helpful, especially if you're working with international folks. Okay, so you can copy the link to the page and share it that way. You can duplicate this page if you want to use this as kind of a template. You can move it from where it's located to a different location if that's in a different team or on a different page. You can trash it. You can import stuff. You can export the data. You can turn into a wiki, which I don't really use this very much, but this is kind of like a page that has a bunch of information on it. You can see the updates and analytics on this page, who views it, who makes the updates, all that stuff. Like I said, if you're using this in a company or on a team, you can see all those different changes, who's working on things, the version history. You can be notified on all comments or on replies, and then you can connect this to different things. So in terms of comments, you can also comment on pages. So you can add comments, you can suggest things, you can have like conversations, which this is, in my opinion, really great because it takes everything out of emails and text messages and Slacks and Teams and chats and everything, and it consolidates all of that conversation and dialogue about what you're doing and what you're working on into one place. So you have a project, you have a document, whatever you're working on with your team, you can have a conversation about this project, this document, this whatever it is, and you can keep that all organized in one place. And that is brilliant because it makes losing things a lot less likely. So what can you do with Notion? So if you hit this little slash bar, you don't have to, but that's a shortcut. You can also hit this plus button. The most popular thing that I use, at least, are databases. So there's the database inline, which is the one I use the most, but let me do this. So you can have a full page database. You can have a table view, board view, gallery view, list view, calendar view, timeline view. These look very similar to Airtable if you watch my Airtable ones. You can create a specific view. You can just if you create a database, the default is a table view. So these are all the different database options. There's also the more standard, there's just text blocks. Another really amazing thing about this, and I use this because I do a lot of writing. As I mentioned, I have a blog. And so like if demo for Notion, let me just write a couple things. All right, so let's say I was writing something and, I got some feedback from my team and they said, hey, maybe we should switch these. So in another program or in the past, you might copy and cut and paste. So you might copy and paste and then cut the other thing out manually. But with this thing, you can actually just move it. You can move the whole block. So if you want to move this in any sort of way, you can even select more than one, I believe. Yep. And you can just move it to where you can put this in any order you want if you want to make an edit or if you want to move sections up and down. It makes it really, really easy to do that. Love that feature. There's also headings, heading 1, 2, 3, has bullet lists, numbered lists, to-do lists, toggle lists, which is great. And you can make this to where it's all under a toggle to where you can hide stuff. You can also change this. You can turn it into a toggle. Let's say it's a header 3. So this will be bigger and bolded. You can also manually change this. I don't want to know. That's how you can change it to do. I think if you highlight the text, yes, you can also change it right here manually to something. You can change the formatting here. You can link to stuff. You can add a link if you want. Let's see, Notion. Let's link it. You can link to different pages. You can put an actual link in here, notion.so. So now if you click on this, it takes you to Notion. So there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with Notion, and how you can organize the different ways of doing this, and what makes the most sense for you is it's up to you. Call out is something that I use frequently as well, and this is a great way to put at the top of a page, or if you want to if you want something that is sort of general, like this is a demo about Notion basics. Like if you were creating a page and you wanted something that was like more general and you want everyone to keep that, you can use this as a way to organize different sections. You can change this icon to be whatever you want. I'm going to leave it there. But that's something I use. You can use quotes. You can do a quote. I am the greatest showman ever. It just looks a little different. I'm just kind of showing you random things at the moment just so you can see. You can create a table that's just a table that's not a database. I just want to distinguish those two things, because a database can be in a table format, but a database won't only just be a table. You can add dividers that will help you with your formatting and make things look nice and neat. You can link to a page. So if you have another page, you can link to another page that is already existing. They have AI in here, which kind of just I pulled up. If you press space and the / it pulls up the AI feature. And I think you have to have a specific subscription for that to do it. You can use Notion AI to do these things. You can translate, you can continue writing, ask a question, ask about a page, rewrite stuff, whatever. You can add media, you can add images, video, audio, you can code in here. You can add a file, you can add a web bookmark, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to create that, and you can create like an actual bookmark for this specific thing. I use this like if I find a web page that I want to remember. Sometimes I'll use this as a way to remember. It's super helpful. Let me see. So these are all the different database views. I went through that already. Advanced blocks, you can create table of contents, and that's going to use based on your heading. So it's really important that you format using headings so that it creates it, but it'll make it for you. Block equation, I don't ever use that. A button, that's really helpful. Buttons are really great. You can use it for anything. Just a simple thing is, I don't know. Let's just do something like this. A new line. So it's going to insert a block. I think that might be good enough. New line. Yeah. So hello world. And then go like this. So you can, that's just a very, very basic, but I've used it to create automations. I've used it to create new records in databases. You can create a set of things that happen with buttons. The button feature is way better in Notion than it is in Airtable. And I've said this before, not on this video necessarily, and I will say it multiple times, is that in my opinion, Notion is more superior to Airtable because of the flexibility that it has to customize everything a little bit better. There are some things that Airtable does better, don't get me wrong, but I think for the majority of how I personally use these systems, Notion looks better. It can do the things that I want it to do. It can organize things a lot easier and more flexible than Airtable can. So let's see, what else do we have here? I've got sync blocks. That's really cool too. So you can create something in a block and that will be synced across multiple pages. And I've used this as a way to build a navigation bar to where if you have like a main page and you're linking to different pages, it's great to have that navigation bar because then you can link back to all the pages, or think of it as like a web page. You can create different links to take you to and from certain places. Toggle headings, I did that. So the columns is really cool too. And it allows you to, if you can see this, I can't you put my mouse over, but where it has like sort of a little preview, it shows you how you can use it essentially. And it's great to be able to use columns and lay your page out a lot easier. Code, mermaid, I'm not sure what that is exactly, but if you are a coder, I'm sure you know exactly what that is. You can mention people in a page. You can mention a page. If you're talking about specific things and maybe there's like a help guide, you can tag that help guide in the page itself, probably in a comment as well. You can put a date or a reminder in the actual page. You can embed stuff from other websites. You can embed Google Files. So there's a lot of really cool shit in here that you can, as you see, there's a ton of things that you can embed from. You can import. You can bring things in from other places. You can turn things into other things. You can change the background color of the text. Let's do that. It's pretty easy. The easiest way to do that is to highlight the text and to color. Let's change the background to orange. The only thing is it goes the whole way across. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but just to show you, if this was not full page, it wouldn't go. It would just go to the width there. Let's try changing the color of only the text. So this can be really helpful too, to really accentuate things. You can also format these things. So you can do bold, underline, italics, whatever. I think there's also a strike through. So if there's something you're working on and you are like, cut this, you can do that. Yeah, so this is just a very basic video to really show you how you can use Notion, what the possibilities are. In another video, I'm going to take you through the database structure, how I did with Airtable, and I want to take you through all the different fields and how you can use them and the differences to Notion and Airtable. So if you like this video, if you found it useful, please give me a like. Put a comment down on the comments and let me know what was most helpful. And also, please share this with someone that you feel like is going to get some value out of it. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.